Hey, my TAI is how will deeper questioning encourage greater student ownership and independence? How the readings, videos I have watched help me with my TAI. What I've done is I've kind of taken bits and pieces from that and from that and from that and used it, and I feel that it's coming through in my teaching. It's kind of, some of the readings and videos I've watched have kind of been refreshers, kind of like reminding me of, oh yeah, that's right, that's something else I can do, that I can do it that way. But also I've learnt some new stuff through possibly one of my main videos, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And so yeah, that it's just reminded me of getting the kids to do more questioning, more speaking, getting them to take ownership of their own learning and how they see it. And through videoing my kids, I've actually seen what I'm doing and what I can change, and also with the readings and videos, what other teachers are doing and what I can use as well that can change, and so I can get my end result of the students taking ownership and developing their independence. The impact it's had on my teaching practice, and this was also discussed this morning with Jace and Zoe at my appraisal, is I feel I'm becoming more of a facilitator, and I even quite often use the word about how I'm facilitating the learning, and I'm becoming more confident using questioning and allowing students the time to generate their own answers, because I think before I'd kind of jump the queue just because I'm like, I know that they know it, and I would probe them more to get the answer that I knew they had, rather than just sitting back and actually waiting for them to come to that conclusion. So without further probing them. I also feel that my TAI has given me a bit more direction as a facilitator, and it's helping me to bring inquiry learning to life in the classroom. So it's helping me to give the students that opportunity that it's theirs, it's their learning, they own it, therefore they're going to learn more if they're actually the directors of it, whereas I'm standing back helping them by scaffolding them, facilitating them, giving them the right tools. They're actually getting more out of the whole inquiry learning process if I stand back a bit more, and that's one thing that I've noticed, the impact that it's had with the children asking more questions, and quite often even during reading time it's come in there that we'll be reading something and they're like, oh, well, what do you think of this? And the whole class is sort of answering each other's questions, so that collegiality amongst the students is there. The shifts the kids have made in relation to my TAI, one thing, and I know Jason sent it to you, was this video, and it's there because it's evidence of my own questioning and how I'm allowing the students enough time to think and respond to the questions that I'm asking them. This video also showed the process that the kids are going through. When I've asked them a question, you can see them taking ownership of it and thinking about how they're going to work it out, and they're also discussing things together. And to see that all these boys, all it was, there was no materials, there was nothing around them apart from, we were just sitting having a discussion. And as the discussion kept going, I was like, I should be recording this. So, and that caught some really good moments of these boys that were actually really engaged, and I hope most of you did take the chance to actually have a look. Just at their level of engagement in them and the excitement of, you know, some of them were getting the answers wrong, but then it was making them think even harder, and I was having to think about the way I was questioning in order for them to get thinking along the lines of, well, how would you half that? And but I won't show you that now because it's about 6 minutes and that will be my whole presentation left. And it also wasn't putting the boys off. It wasn't actually threatening, because they were actually just sitting with each other and bouncing off each other, and one would throw an answer in. And so, yeah, I like to think that I'm still continuing that form of questioning during maths with all the different level groups. It's up to, and then we come to my teachable moment. In class we had this centipede fall, and instead of just sort of sweeping it outside, I decided that that would be our lesson for that afternoon. So it's taking that what happened in the class, like, you know, it was a real life moment. Well, what is it? And lots of the kids were saying what they thought it was, but they're asking questions, and when we sat down and really thought about it, and the best question, which I haven't got on there, is one of the students asked, his question was, does it have 2 heads? And I was sort of like left thinking, how has he come up with that kind of question? And when I asked him further, okay, why would you ask that kind of question? Where does that, you know, question come from? And he said, well, one up that end and one down that end, because it looks like he's got 2 antennas. And I was like, okay, cool. So that was his line of inquiry, and that even made me think, like, well, where is he coming from with that? And that's where we come to some of the videos that I've been watching. And this woman here in this video, it's really good to watch, because I can imagine just what she used to be like. And she thought one day to herself, oh, I'm going to throw all my lesson plan out that I have all here, and I'm going to talk to the students, and we're going to do this, and, you know, I want to be more student-centred and more student-driven. And you could see that as a teacher, she was one that would stick to her lesson plan, even if the children had come up with something else. It would be, well, no, that's not part of my plan. Whereas I am, as a teacher, I'm kind of completely opposite. I can end up talking about something else, completely venture off from the plan. But it was really cool to see, she was talking about her journey, and in the end, the kids raised like $20,000 for a charity. And she said, oh, no, I was turning up to school, and it was like, well, what are we doing today? And I feel also that some of the best learning happens that way, because they're so driven and motivated by what they want. And the kids even group themselves into little groups, and one was doing advertising, one was doing the finances, and one was, they were all in different sections. And I feel that on this day, the kids actually afterwards, we'd had our sort of chat together, and we came up with some questions. They kind of went off and grouped themselves, and then they were having discussions about what it was. And when they found out the answers, they were going, I told you, I thought it was this, and they were actually feeding off each other. And what I found was really cool was it wasn't ability grouped, it was mixed ability group. And the way that they did that themselves, pairing up together, so that's the collegiality and learning from each other. Also, this one, the idea of building learning power, was one I read and one I watched, but before I didn't know how to put that one in, but Create Magic, it's there if you click that link. And as Lisa's quote, it was about boring children don't learn, or something like that. Well, this is kind of the same, and the Create Magic was a guy who said if you were to go into churches and listen to the minister or the pastor and how they get everyone engaged in listening and stuff, and he's like, using the different tones of voice. So again, that was kind of like another reminder of how your interaction and the way you are in the classroom can, and for me, like get the motivation for the inquiry learning. So when the centipede fell and Chris kind of went, ah! And I kind of was like, oh, what's that? And then that got everyone's interest in what it was. So, and that's where creating the magic comes into you. And quite often they talk about teachers being actors and actresses and that performance and stuff. So that one was a good reminder. The best reading or video, and I hope, and I know that Laura has been to my page and had a look at it. It's not there.
That one of your last TAIs.
No, that's not the motivation.
Over and over.
No, it's the School in the Clouds, Cloud in the School.
Yeah, that's
School in the Clouds. That Laura came to me after she's watched it, and she was like, man, it was so cool.